Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're sort of switching gears, quite literally. We're getting ready to swap cargo trailers for, well, coaches, because our source material gives us this amazing early look at the next huge thing for Euro Truck Simulator 2, the Coaches Project DLC. It's been talked about for ages.
It really has. In this source, it's mainly from a YouTube preview video. It's pretty significant. It zooms in on the main vehicle for this update, Scania Touring. And this isn't just, sticking another vehicle in the game. It feels like it could actually change the whole simulation feel. We're moving from hauling like pallets and cargo to people.
Right. That's a totally different kind of cargo, isn't it? Changes the whole responsibility. So let's talk about this specific bus, the Scania Touring. The video creator who got the preview seemed really impressed. They said the detail on this coach, or autocar, I guess is the technical term for these luxury ones, was simply phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal. That's high praise. And, the fact that SCS Software, the developers, are putting that level of work into it, it suggests they see this as a major, major shift, a flagship feature. So we're going to unpack what that detail means, give you the real-world background on this bus, and, importantly, talk about the timeline. Because there's a clue in there about waiting times that, well, it requires some patience.
Okay, let's start with the foundation, the Scania Touring itself. Why this particular bus to kick off the passenger experience?
Well, it's actually a fairly modern choice. The Scania Touring hit the market back in 2009, roughly. And since then, it's become incredibly popular, like really a common sight on roads in Europe and even outside Europe.
Okay, so it's well established, a known quantity, not some obscure model. People will recognize it.
Exactly. And its whole design philosophy feeds directly into what this DLC is about, its main goal: comfort, specifically for long-distance travel, luxury touring. Think hours on the motorway, smooth rides. And depending on the specific setup, it can carry up to 50 passengers.
50. Wow. Okay. That number alone just changes the pressure, doesn't it? For you, the player. Suddenly, it's not just about getting a pallet of widgets from A to B without damage. You've got, what, 50 virtual people relying on you to drive smoothly, safely, and be on time.
Precisely. And that leads perfectly into how the simulation itself might evolve here. The source material, the video creator, didn't just comment on the outside. They were really struck by the inside, the immersion. They specifically said seeing the cabin detail immediately made them really want to drive it. That kind of reaction to the detail. It hints at a deeper simulation coming.
I wonder, though, if the focus is so much on smoothness and comfort, does that make the actual driving less challenging? We're used to wrestling with the weight of a huge trailer, feeling that inertia. If the bus is too comfortable, is it less skillful?
That's a fair question. And the source kind of touches on that. It stresses the driving experience will be fundamentally different. Not necessarily easier, just different. The DLC is expected to bring a big, big change, that's the quote, to ets2. And the key thing mentioned over and over is its reputation for smooth suspension and a really comfortable ride.
Okay, so the physics engine needs a rethink then. It can't just be truck physics applied to a bus shape.
Exactly right. Think about current challenges: managing brake fade, trailer swing, the sheer inertia of 40 tons. With the coach, the challenge shifts. Maybe it's about managing G-forces in corners. You're driving something tall, filled with passengers. Take a turn too fast, it's not just physics, it's passenger comfort. The new damage model might be passenger nausea levels.
That's the aha moment right there. It's not just mechanical, it becomes almost human-centric simulation.
Yeah, and the effort involved seems to back this up. The source confirms it's a big project, a large team involved, SCS Software people, folks from Scania itself, plus dedicated modeling teams. When you have that kind of collaboration, especially with a manufacturer, it suggests they're taking the physics and that comfort factor very seriously. They want to get it right.
Okay. Let's dive into the features then, the interactive bits. The source hinted this bus will be able to do much more than just driving. So, beyond steering and pedals, what new functions are we actually getting?
Right, this is where the immersion gets a real boost, potentially. They're adding animated features we don't really see on the current trucks, specifically animated side doors, for passengers getting on and off.
Yeah.
And also animated luggage compartments that you can apparently open.
Animated luggage compartments. That sounds like more than just eye candy.
I think so, too. Think about the gameplay loop it implies. Right now in ets2, before you drive, you maybe hook up the trailer, check lights, basic stuff. If you have luggage bays you can actually open, does that mean a new pre-trip check? Maybe you have to virtually load luggage or at least check it's secure, close the doors. It could really deepen the role-playing side of things, connects the vehicle prep to the actual passenger service.
Yeah, it makes the bus feel more like a working vehicle, less like just a driving seat.
Hmm.
And what about different versions? The source mentioned configurations?
Yep, confirmed from the get-go. The bus will come in different setups. They specifically mentioned a double axle version that's 2 axles close together at the back for stability and carrying more weight, and also a standard single axle version.
Okay.
So having those choices means handling will likely feel different, maybe capacity changes, gives players options depending on the route or job. Maybe the double axle is for mountain passes.
Oh.
This all sounds fantastic, but incredibly complex.
Yeah.
New physics, new interactions, passenger AI, probably new depots. Which brings us back to that reality check you mentioned, the
Right.
timeline. What did the source actually predict for the release?
Yeah, this is where we need to temper the excitement just a bit for you listening. The expert commenting in the source material was clear. What SCS showed, even though it looks polished, is from a very early stage of development. They're showing the concept, the goal, not something that's nearly ready to ship.
Right, that's pretty standard for big game updates, but usually after a reveal like this, you hope for maybe, what, 6 months? A year?
Well, this seems different.
Hmm.
The complexity seems much higher. And the source gives this quite specific, quite sobering prediction. The video creator said they strongly suspect, or guess, maybe, that this whole project certainly not be before 2026.
Wow. 2026, that's
Yeah.
quite a wait.
Yeah.
Potentially over 2 years from now. It really underlines how big a change this coach's project is for them if they think it needs that much development time.
I think it does. It validates everything we've discussed about the shift in gameplay. They're not just adding a vehicle model. They seem to be building a whole new layer onto the simulation. They need time for the passenger systems, the comfort ratings, the physics, new types of destinations maybe, all those animations we talked about. The source creator was thankful SCS gave this small glimpse. But yeah, the reality is this stuff takes time, especially if you want to do it right.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's quickly recap the key takeaways for everyone. We've got the Scania Touring coming with apparently phenomenal detail. New interactive features like animated doors and luggage bays are confirmed, and the core driving experience is shifting focus towards passenger comfort, smooth suspension, likely involving new physics.
But patience is crucial. Based on this early look, the source strongly suggests we're probably looking at 2026 at the earliest. It's an expansion that really promises to change how you play ets2.
Definitely. And thinking about that bigger picture, it does leave you with a fascinating final thought, doesn't it? If the simulation detail is going this deep beyond just delivering cargo, what other responsibilities might come with it?
Exactly. Will the game start tracking things like harsh braking? Or maybe dictate mandatory passenger rest stops, separate from your own driver fatigue? How does managing the expectations and schedule of 50 virtual people change how you plan your routes, compared to just hauling freight? It suggests a whole new level of professionalism, maybe, a different kind of mastery to achieve in the game.
It's the difference between just driving and providing a service.
That's the challenge, it seems, waiting for us down the road, potentially in 2026.
Food for thought indeed. Thanks for diving deep with us today.